Hi everyone, this is Dr. Preeti Avari. We are going to see histology of glands in general today. Gland is a structure made up of secretory units lined by epithelium, maybe with or without ducts. And it could be a single cell acting as a gland. Gland will secrete the secretions, store the secretions, and release them whenever needed. We can classify gland according to number of secretory cells into unicellular and multicellular gland. We can also classify gland according to mode of transport as exocrine, endocrine, mixed. We know the endocrine glands. These are the glands without duct. They will directly pour their secretions into the blood capillaries as thyroid gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland, parathyroid gland, and islets of Langerhans in the pancreas. The exocrine glands are the one which will secrete their secretions or pour out their secretions through ducts. The examples are various types of salivary glands, the glands present in GIT, etc. And there are some glands in our body which has got both exocrine and endocrine function, like liver, pancreas. According to number of secretory unit, the first is unicellular gland. Example is goblet cell. These goblet cells are seen in respiratory epithelium lining the mucosa of large intestine. This is the electron microscopic structure of a goblet cell. This cell looks like a goblet with lower part narrow and the upper part bigger. Nucleus is present in the lower part surrounded by mitochondria. In the middle part we can see other cell organelles, and at the apical part we can see many vacuoles or vesicles which are filled with mucus. So whenever this gland wants to secrete mucus, the mucus will be poured out from the apical surface. According to number of secretory unit, all other glands will be multicellular. According to mode of secretion, we can classify gland into four types: merocrine, holocrine, apocrine, paracrine. First, merocrine. Here, the secretions are stored in the vesicles in the cell, and they are released as the vesicles fuse with the plasma membrane from the apical surface of the cell. In the first picture, you can see all cells are filled with secretions in the vesicles, and these vesicles, their membrane will fuse with the plasma membrane of the cell, and then that part will be broken down, and these secretions are given out outside. You can say it is a kind of exocytosis. Second mode is apocrine. To release the secretions, apical region of the cell gets pinched off from it. So here you can see in this last picture, you can see the apical surface of the or apical segment of the cell is completely being pinched off. This is seen in the mammary gland where the lipid is secreted in this way, and also in the apocrine sweat glands. Third is holocrine. To release the secretions, cell bursts out itself. So in the third picture you can see this last cell, it wants to give out its all secretions, so it will burst. It will sacrifice itself. This kind of gland is seen in sebaceous gland and meibomian gland. Fourth is paracrine. Here the cell secretes the chemicals in for the nearby cell. So in the last picture you can see this is the paracrine cell. The cell will give out all the secretions in close vicinity. These kind of cells are present in the testes, in the interstitial cells of the ladies, which will secrete testosterone, which will act locally, and also the estrogen secreting cells in the corpus luteum. According to development also, we can divide glands into various types. Few glands are ectodermal in origin, like mammary gland, sweat gland, sebaceous gland, salivary gland. Few glands are endodermal in origin, as glands of gastrointestinal tract, glands of respiratory tract, liver, and pancreas. Testes and ovary are mesodermal in origin. They are also glands, as they are secreting some secretions or hormones like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Some glands originate from new rectoderm, as adrenal medulla and posterior part of pituitary gland. According to type of secretion, we can divide gland into homocrine and heterocrine. When the cell is giving out only one type of secretion, like only mucus secreting gland, only serous secreting salivary gland, that kind of, we call it as heterocrine if the gland is giving out more than one type of secretion. Some glands also give out both exocrine and endocrine secretion, as pancreas, liver, testes, and ovaries. They are all heterocrine type of glands in them. Now, to see the next kind of classification, we need to understand the parts of multicellular gland. In a simple manner, the gland will have a follicle or acinus or a secretory unit which is lined by epithelial cells. These are all secretory cells. The secretions will be poured into this storing area inside the space inside, and the secretions will come out through a duct which acts as a conduit for the passage of the secretions. Now, depending on whether the ducts are branching, whether the acini are branching, we can have variety of multicellular glands. In that, we have, according to shape of secretory unit, tubular gland where the secretory unit is like a tube. We have acinar or alveolar gland where the secretory unit is circular. According to branching pattern of the secretory unit, if there is only one secretory unit, it is a simple gland. If there are more than two secretory units, that is branch gland. According to number of ducts, if there is only one duct, we call it as a simple gland. If there are more than one duct, that means there are two or three ducts like that, we call it as compound gland. So here are four types of, or let us say five types of simple glands. Simple acinar, where there is only one duct and there is one secretory unit which is like a acinus, which is rounded. This type of simple acinar gland is seen in sebaceous gland. Next is simple tubular, where there is only one duct and there is only one secretory unit which is like a tube. These kind of glands are seen in the intestine, the intestinal glands of Leverkuhn and uterine gland. Now we have one variation in that, that is sweat gland. Sweat glands are same this way, but the secretory part is coiled. So we call them as coiled tubular gland. Next is simple branched tubular. That means there is only one duct, but the secretory part is branching, which is like a tube. So these are all tubular glandular parts, but there is only one duct. This kind of gland is seen in the stomach, lining the mucosa, gastric glands. Next is simple branched acinar, where there is only one duct, but the acini are branching. There are more than one acini. This is seen in sebaceous glands and tarsal glands. The next variety is compound gland. We have three types. Compound gland matlab the duct is also branching and the secretory units are also branching. First is compound tubular, where the secretory part is like a tube and the tubes are also branching. It is seen in bulbourethral glands in males. Compound acinar gland, the second variety, where there is branching of ducts and the globular, circular, rounded acini are also branching. It is seen in salivary gland, like submandibular gland, sublingual gland. The third variety is compound tubuloacinar, means the ducts are branching, the acini and tubular secretory part, they are also branching. So there are two types of secretory parts together here. Some will be acinar, some will be tubular. This variety of gland is also called as racemose gland. It is seen in parotid gland and mammary gland. So I hope you understood the classification of the glands with examples. Please do subscribe, share and like. Thank you for watching.